you want me to sit here?
Yeah,
Sure.
that's perfect.
That's okay.
I don't have makeup on.
Oh, well.
But makeup?
Makeup!
I'm sure within the year we'll probably have all that down, makeup and everything.
Hair.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you can have an artist touch it up,
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
It's possible.
but don't smear the lipstick on.
No, that would look unseemly.
Yes.
You're right.
Well,
So to give you some clues.
yeah, one of the things that I've always loved about your story is you're growing up, in with your dad and mom and brother and that way of life and the
Well, that's kind of foreign to
yeah
both the time and the culture.
yeah
I mean, Congregationals don't understand that.
yeah what's really interesting for us is growing up in that Reformed tradition and culture and what that was like for you as a kid.
Evangelical.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Reformed were in
Gotta get the
Ohio.
right branch.
Yeah, the bad guys.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how that all unfolded?
Yeah. My mom was Reformed in Ohio, and you guys were
Okay.
evangelical. Yeah.
Well, when the first merger took place,
Mm.
my dad was all over the
Mm.
Reformed people and the bad people.
Wow.
And then when it came to the UCC merger, it was the bad Congregationalists,
The bad Reformed and the worst congregation.
Yes. Yes.
That philosophical statement, time makes ancient good uncouth.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great statement. Yeah. Yeah.
You can quote me on that.
Okay.
You were the eldest brother, as I remember. Is that right?
Well, I had an older brother, but he died before I was born.
Wow.
He was what they called a blue baby. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a restriction of the aorta,
Right.
and he lived a year and a half.
Wow.
I don't think my mother ever got over that. But I was a replacement
Yeah.
for Charles. And no, she did get over it, I think, but not entirely.
Yeah.
And then there was me and then Big Walter.
Yeah. Got really close, right? Just like a year
15
or two.
months.
15 months. Wow.
Yeah.
Almost like twins. Yeah.
Well, we kind of grew up like twins. We were in separate grades, but we did everything together. We had so much in common. We were the only kids in high school whose family traveled on vacation. Most of the kids in my high school had never been out of Missouri.
Wow. Wow.
Some of them never had been out of Saline County.
Wow.
It's just,
You had a different view of the world, you and Walter.
well, yeah, and thanks to our parents.
Was your dad a minister when you were born?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was a minister before he was married.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember the sequence. He has a brother a year younger, who was a year younger than him, that was also ordained. And I think, as I recall, the sequence was that his brother, he ordained his brother in the morning. In the afternoon, his brother married them.
Wow.
Yeah, they were just like twins almost because they looked alike.
Wow.
Had the same mannerisms.
Wow.
Had the same initials.
Wow.
August Ludwig
Wow.
and Albert I'm sorry. They didn't have the same initials.
But this thing of ordained brothers, is sort of like your
Yeah.
dad and his brother, and
You know,
then
I
you
can't
and your
remember my
brother.
uncle's name now. I have so many uncles. But, and they didn't live close to each other.
Hmm.
So they kind of get separated. They see each other at convocation every year. But both my father and my uncle gravitated toward their wives' families.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I think it always happens.
Yeah, it's pretty common. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
we hardly ever saw the Brueggemann side of the family.
Hmm. What was your mom's maiden name?
Hallman,
Hmm.
Hallmann.
That's German?
They were German, yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
Swiss Germans.
Yeah.
My grandmother's name was Sonderregger,
Wow.
Wow.
and she was very proud of it.
I've never heard that
Came
that
from
name.
Switzerland.
Wow. It's a very musical name.
Yeah.
I am
makes sense.
from Switzerland. No, she was quite a lady. I don't know what you'd call her in the German tradition, but if she'd been a man, she'd have been a Vorsteher in the church, a first person.
Huh.
Because she pretty much ran the church. Her first husband, I can't remember the sequence now. Oh, he drank himself to death, that's right. Was killed in a train hit him,
Ugh.
coming back from the liquor store.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. This is out there in the town you grew up in or nearby?
No, this is out in western Kansas.
Western Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in Missouri.
Yeah. Right.
Well, we lived in Kansas for a little while, and I was born in Nebraska, but basically Missouri was my home.
Right.
What were we talking about?
Just about you and Walter and growing up. And
Oh, yeah.
did you both go to Eden?
Yep.
Yeah. And you both, as I remember, you were both pretty athletic, right?
Well, I was athletic. I think Walter would acknowledge that
Yeah.
he had two left feet,
Okay. All right. So you were the athlete in the
and he
family.
was.
Yeah.
No, he gave it a shot, but it didn't work out.
Basketball, is that what did you?
Well, that was our main game because we didn't have enough kids in high school to play the other sport.
Right.
But
Right.
I think he got to start a couple games in his high school year, senior year. I started my freshman year. Actually, no one knew it at the time, but I was only in 7th grade,
Really?
and I was recruited by the high school. I mean, back then the regulations were kind of,
Yeah.
So I played 6 seasons of
Wow.
high school basketball
Wow.
on the starting 5.
Wow.
Well, I'm not bragging. That's how loosey-goosey everything was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must have loved it though.
Uh-huh.
You must have loved it.
I did.
Yeah.
It affected my studies a bit. Walter would tell you that it didn't take much to affect it.
Your studies.
I just wasn't diligent.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were so many interesting things to see.
Yeah.
And going to college so close to Chicago, a quick train ride down, all kinds of interesting things. And we had a sociology professor who kind of took a liking to both of us. And he'd call us up and say, There's a seminar going on in Chicago next week, and there's a couple spots I want you guys to take. And it'd be a congress of what's that organization called? Christians and Jews. I can't remember the name of it now. But I don't.
Wow.
And we'd go down there, and we were just hillbillies.
Wow. Well, what great exposure to
Oh yeah.
what was emerging in, you know, what was emerging in the ecumenical world, you know,
Yeah.
then, yeah. Interfaith world, I should say. In the interfaith world, I
Yeah.
should say, yeah.
Yeah, this professor was kind of a farmer kind. He still maintained a garden, and I think that's what drew him to us probably. But
What college did you guys go to?
Elmhurst,
Elmhurst, that's right.
Chicago.
And that was an evangelical college?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only college we knew about. Well, besides local stuff, you know, Missouri Valley or places like that. But my father decided early on that we should go to Elmhurst. He couldn't afford it, and certainly we couldn't. I don't know how we did. Of course, back then tuition wasn't very high.
Right.
And Walter went through on full scholarships. And I worked my butt off in the summertime
Raising money.
in the wheat fields.
Right. At home.
In Kansas and Missouri. Yeah.
Wow. Did you still have family back in Kansas?
Well, by that time, my parents lived in Missouri, near Kansas City.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Wow. And then you guys went to Eden?
Yeah.
Both of you?
Yeah, that was kind of Elmhurst, Eden, and Eternity.
Eternity.
The 3 E's.
Yeah. Well, those were denominational schools, and that was just. Yeah, I think if we'd have signed up for another seminary, there'd have been an investigation. I mean, you know about the church and ministry committees?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, back then that was a big deal, and they had the say on an awful lot of things, including whether or not you could be ordained. So you had to kind of stay in their good graces.
Yeah, sort of stay on the track that they
Yeah.
envisioned for you. Yeah.
They supervise that pretty closely. I don't think that happens anymore. That wasn't all bad.
Well, I think there's still that whole notion of, it used to be called in care, and now it's been changed, but,
What's it called now?
oh,
What
this
is
went out
it
of my
called
mind.
now?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's the new name for the sort of the formation track.
Well, it was literally in care.
Yeah. Yeah. Under supervision.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't resent that. I guess high school graduates are more sophisticated than we were. We were really hillbillies. We didn't go barefooted and stuff like that, but well, come to think of it, my dad served a mission church in the Ozarks for a couple of years, and people come to church barefooted. Once in a while, a hog will walk into church. Well, down there it's open range.
Wow. Free range hogs. Wow.
So if you had hogs, it was your. If you didn't have hogs, it was your responsibility to fence them out.
Huh. Wow.
The owner didn't to fence them in.
Wow. That's amazing. It's a whole paradigm shift, isn't it? Yeah.
You could be driving down the road on a state highway at night and come around a curve, and there's some cattle sleeping in the road. and
Wow.
it was cooler there.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
could,
Wow.
that was quite a rearing when you stop and
Yeah.
think about some of those aspects.
Yeah.
I don't mean to bore you with all that
No,
stuff.
it's so interesting because it's so, most of the world, most of the United States is so different now.
Well,
More of the United States was like that then.
what's that?
More of the United States was like that then. Uh,
Oh, then you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
than now. My mom grew up in Ohio in a small town, but and it was during the Depression, and she said as kids they went barefoot all summer except for church because it saved on shoe leather.
Yeah.
And so they weren't allowed to wear shoes,
Yeah.
really.
How old is your mom?
She would be, she's gone, but she would be, I think, 96 or 7 now if she'd lived.
Yeah, she's a little older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a different whole. The whole enchilada is different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you were in ministry, during so many of those changes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, during Vietnam. And,
Right. Right. Civil rights.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I spent some time in Cairo, Illinois.
Wow.
You know where Cairo is?
Yeah. That was the Klan.
Hot spot.
Yeah. Klan hotspot. Yeah.
The reason I was down there, the little church there was not our church, but I can't remember what denomination it was, but it was threatened by some white rednecks,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted some pastors to come down to be present.
Wow. Wow.
I guess you'd think it was a passive defense.
Right. Right. Mm. Kind of a witness too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that for me?
Oh.
Oh, good.
Where were you serving then?
Oh, let's see. I think I was on staff in Illinois South.
Okay.
Yeah,
You weren't in a parish anymore at that point.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm pretty sure I wasn't.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
I can't remember the year.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. There's an amazing book written. It's won a Pulitzer Prize by a woman who's a New York Times reporter called "The Warmth of Other Suns," and it's about the migration in the 20th century from African Americans from the southern rural states to the northern urban states, and Cicero was
right through
mentioned
St.
in there.
Louis on the way to Chicago.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was a social major, so
Mm.
I know about that migration.
Yeah, yeah. I was amazed. Most of the stuff in that book I did not know. Yeah.
Well, you grew up in Ohio?
I did. Yes. Yeah, but in a kind of a small town, not in an urban
Well, you're
area.
younger than me too.
Yeah, I'm 70. So yeah, I was born in 46, right after the war. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those weren't easy times.
No.
My father was went to the ministry late,
Mm.
and he was a very liberal thinker.
Mm.
He got into Eden Seminary without a college degree.
Wow. Goodness.
He and his brother decided they wanted to go to seminary, and they showed up at the seminary and said, "We feel called to go to the ministry."
Wow.
And Dr. Press, that was unheard of,
Mm.
because it was usually, you went all through the whole system,
Sure.
and neither one had even been to high school.
Wow.
And
Goodness.
he interviewed them, and he had a probationary basis,
Mhm.
admitted them,
Mm.
and I guess they really struggled academically. But they had the guts and
fortitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Local boy makes good.
Yeah. And just to think about it, in one generation from your dad and his brother not even having high school but going to seminary, and then you and your brother going to college and seminary. And
now teaching
wow.
theology.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
Well, my mother was fairly proud.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we had quite a party that weekend. Well, this must be boring as hell.
No, not at all.
Not at all. It's great. It's great.
Well, these are things that people don't know about another person.
Yes, exactly. And that's one of the things that Amelia has pointed out is that a lot of times people will say in church, "Oh, I didn't know that about that person," and it's sort of like it makes the point that we should know more about each other, you know, to be a community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know where people came from,
Right.
you can't get inside their skin.
That's absolutely right. I agree with that. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's absolutely right. Yeah.
And we're dashing about back and forth so much that
Yeah.
we hardly know people's names, let alone
Yeah.
anything about their lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now that First Church is more what Amelia is calling, wonderfully calling elder rich. We're elder rich. I love that.
Oh, I like that.
Thank you.
It sure is how better than elder poor.
Well,
Exactly.
well.
We're elder rich. And
Yeah.
I think now that that is who we are rich with stories and traditions and backgrounds from all over the place. And, you know, we need to lift those up, those stories. Yeah.
So that's what you're about.
That's what we're about. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've come full circle.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think so. The more things have moved fast and as you say, our connections are often more superficial, the more there's a longing to go deeper and know people.
I'm curious, maybe you don't know the answer to this, but how many people in First Church of the remaining core grew up in Concord?
Boy, I think probably not a lot. Even a lot of our older members, like we were talking with Ruth, you know, last time, and she grew up in Indiana.
Yeah.
And
I knew that.
And I grew up in Ohio, and Amelia grew up everywhere.
Are you a PK?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that she could answer that means she did know.
If we can hold on to her for 5 years, that might be the longest she's ever lived anywhere.
Pretty much.
Well,
Pretty much.
you know, I came to New Hampshire on an agreement that I'd be here for 2 years.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow. And that was like when, in the 60s or 70s? 60s.
Let's see, early 70s.
Early 70s, yeah. So you've stayed a while.
Well, you know, one thing led to another.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, is he there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
A lot of people don't know that you and Don were largely responsible, Don Jennings largely responsible for the bylaws that we had for years and years that we just recently...
I wrote most of it.
Yeah, exactly. That was in the 80s.
I mean, I didn't make it up.
No,
I mean,
right. But
we would talk about it, and then I'd go back and write it. And,
right.
Yeah.
That was a huge undertaking at the time. Yeah.
Well, it was important to do.
It was. And we are just in Amelia's tenure where,
I'm ready to do it again.
you know, we're modifying it so much because the church is so different now.
Yeah.
Yeah, in size and so forth. So Yeah.
Well, at least there's a framework.
Yeah, something to go from. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a good
What
way to
insurance
put it.
policy was that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, people used to say it about our hometown, good place to be from.
Yeah, like so many of those towns that we all grew up in.
But you have something
Yeah,
from here
that's
to talk to
great.
me about
How
it?
big were
great.
the towns you grew up in?
Well, I was born west of Cleveland, and then I grew up
Well,
in.
that's a big area. What?
I was born in Middleburg Heights, but Middleburg
Hello?
Heights,
Oh yeah.
but it was we were in Olmsted Falls for 5 years,
Oh, yeah.
and then we moved from there to Chicago and lived in 5 different houses in Chicago in 10 years.
In the city?
One of the houses we were in was in the suburbs of the city, off Damon Avenue,
On what?
off of Damon Avenue, which is sort of midtown.
I thought I knew Chicago, but
We spent several years in Oak Park, Illinois. We were there for.
well, I know where that is. You know where Elmhurst is?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oak Park was close to Elmhurst.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great city, Chicago.
I love it.
You ever been around that?
You know, I've never, growing up in the Midwest, I've still never been to Chicago. I drove through it when we went out west a year ago for a trip. We drove through the edge of Chicago. First time I'd ever even been in the city
Big
limits of
city.
Chicago.
Huh.
Huge. So
We'll have
weird.
to fix that.
I know.
The
That's
home of
terrible.
the blues,
I
Tammy.
know the blues and
Why would you drive through Chicago?
well,
Where were you going?
we were going to the northwest, and they took us right through the edge on the interstate there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and but it was unfortunately it was at evening rush hour, so I got to look at the city for quite a long time.
About 8 lanes going one way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they've done a pretty good job with the highway system.
Chicago, yes.
And now with Chicago being in the World Series, there's been a lot of a lot of media attention back to the city again.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been
Yes.
pretty cool. Game 7 tonight. So
What's that?
Game 7 of the World Series tonight. It's going all the way to Game 7. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
What are the odds?
Well, I think it's probably have to give it maybe 50-50 now, even though it's at Cleveland, because Chicago's been coming on so strong. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I hope Chicago wins it.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
The Cubbies need it.
They
Yes,
do.
they do.
Well, actually, baseball needs it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough for me because Cleveland was the team I, worshipped growing up in Ohio. So.
Well, when you're listening, I'll cheer for Cleveland. But that'll be hard to do. 'Cause
You've been a Cubs fan, probably.
no, I'm a National League fan.
Yeah.
No.
Were you a Cubs fan when you were growing up, or
No,
were
Cardinals.
a Cardinals? Okay. Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
They won a few.
Oh my gosh.
series.
I sure have.
You go way back. It's-
Yeah. Stan Musial. Yeah.
Well, even before that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, music was playing when I was growing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We used to. I had an aunt. I'm trying to say it your way, aunt.
Aunt. No, I already say aunt too.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I'm left to my own devices.
And yeah.
But lived in St. Louis,
Mm.
and we would stay at her place for a couple days.
Mm.
And I don't know how my dad did it because he couldn't afford it, but he'd get tickets for 3 days.
Wow.
Wow.
Great. For a homestand, that's
Huh?
wonderful. For a homestand, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, we had.
Yeah.
We thought we were high on the hog.
Oh, absolutely. I understand. Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, we'd picnic over at Forest Park.
Mm.
You're familiar with that?
Yeah.
It's a wonderful park.
Mm.
Well, I'm delaying you.
No.
Oh, no.
No. It's just great to hear your memories and your background.
Well, that's the way you coddle old men.
And Yeah. I can say that as an increasingly old man myself. Yeah. Do you have any parting sort of wishes or hopes for the church in these times as we're kind of going
You mean
forward?
First Church?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I haven't really thought a lot about it, but well, let me just think out loud.
Sure.
I think it's wonderful to hold on to the tradition,
Right.
comma,
Right.
but not too tightly.
No, wonderful. Wow.
I'm just making this up as I go, but
Yeah.
no, I think it's a proud tradition, but sometimes I have the feeling it's a little bit too hooked up to memories.
To the past. Yeah. That's wonderful.
More memories
Yeah.
than
Right.
visions.
Right.
Old men dream dreams, but young men have visions.
Yeah. I love what you said. Like it's a wonderful tradition, comma. Hold on to it's wonderful tradition, but comma, but don't hold on too tightly. And you know the comma is like the UCC. You know,
Yes.
like God is still speaking.
Yes.
Simple. So, I love that.
It's good.
That's very good.
Well, I love commas and semicolons.
Me too.
That's awesome.
Well, you can tell I used to dictate.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
You make a sentence
Yeah.
Put in the
Yeah.
punctuation.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Comma.
you give them a clue as a comma. You know? I think that's because when you dictated, you visualized
Yes.
writing it.
Yes. Yeah. For those of us who are more auditory than visual, which I am, dictating was almost preferable to writing it down. You know.
Is that right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So you wouldn't even thought of saying comma.
Well, I might have, but I could just see. I could hearing the sentence help me see it. I would hear it first, then see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for this. It's
Yeah.
really nice of you to
Well,
give us the time.